Hello, hello, welcome to Quackalope, and today we're going to be opening Mage Knight, the Ultimate Edition. This is a game, unlike my other unboxing videos, that I'm not familiar with. Luckily, I'm not unboxing it alone.
Yeah, every time I come over here and to play a game, off camera, Jesse says, "What do you want to play?" I say, Mage Knight.
That's true. It's been sitting in the background for, well, I mean, the entirety of this channel. Kind of just looming over me. I originally picked this up because it's supposed to be one of the best solo games on the market. At least that's what the community, the BGG community, has led me to believe. We are going to start discovering what that means today.
Yeah.
Immediately after this unboxing video, we're going to spend the next 6 to 8 hours exploring and figuring out exactly how to play Mage Knight. Not on camera, just on our own, but we thought we'd do a fancy little unboxing for you all.
Yeah, now I have only read through the initial scenario and the playthrough guide, so I'm not extremely familiar with it, and I don't know all of the scenarios.
What he's saying is that he can tell you exactly what's inside this box, just like any of my unboxing videos. This will be slightly more of a overview than just a simple unboxing, so we'll walk you through how the gameplay generally works, what some of the components are used for, and what you can loosely expect if you did go out and pick up this game. You gonna go and tell them a little bit about Mage Knight, possibly read the flavor text, if there's any?
So, Mage Knight is an exploration game where we're going to be laying tiles and moving across a countryside. We're going to be gathering cards, which are going to give us special abilities. There's deed cards, there's special ability cards, there's spells. We can have companions that will recruit along the way. And then there's a number of different enemies that we're going to be fighting, and they trigger in different ways, and there's different sorts of encounters.
And it's not a cooperative game, right?
It can be.
Unlike some of the other epics that I have.
Yeah, it can be. So there's a number of different scenarios.
Okay.
There's fully cooperative. There is competitive, lightly competitive. There's very competitive.
Is that where you're trying to like kill or accomplish something, or what's the...
So I've only read the initial scenario, which is where it's semi-competitive, it's lightly competitive. It's really, you're trying to get the most fame by the end of it.
Okay.
You can have some player versus player combat if you want to. They don't recommend you do on your first game.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and break into the game. Like always, we will cut a seam in the side of the box and then be respectfully quiet.
Oh.
So, It's all you. And I will continue mumbling until you've cut said seam, and then, like normal, just be respectfully quiet. That's probably good.
Yeah. All the way, huh?
What is this disrespect for my unboxing videos? And sir, go ahead and lift off the top of that box there.
Let's see what we have.
I'm just gonna start grabbing things. You're welcome
Sure.
to you're welcome to talk to people about what's inside here. I'm just gonna start looking because I have no idea.
Sure, so first you're going to have the rule book and probably the scenarios.
Okay. It looks like here we have like token symbols, so quick reference guides for all the different expansions.
Tells you what we have.
Game walkthrough with the introduction. It looks like there is some flavor text there that we'll read eventually.
And this is what I've read. I read the walkthrough.
Okay, and that's just kind of like the very first scenario, the setup, kind of the overview of the whole game. We have the expansions rulebooks, which this is going to be for the three core or three major expansions that come in this box, and then we have the official like Ultimate Edition rulebook, which probably is how you combine everything. It compiles everything into one whole.
Yeah, it's a big overview of all the rules and how they work together, and then it provides the different scenarios at the end. Okay, I wasn't very good with that knife last time, so you want to do it this one?
No, just, let's see here. Let's lift this up. We have a whole tray of punch boards. Go ahead and cut a seam in those and see what they're like.
I lost your knife already. There it is.
This is a professional environment, sir.
Well, then you should hire a professional.
Hire? So starting off, what is this top board that we're looking at here?
Okay, this is the board This is the main game board where we're going to be tracking our fame and our reputation. So these numbers here track our fame as we complete deeds and go on our different quests. We're going to have our shield markers traveling up here, and every time we go to a new row, that represents a new level. And each new level, we're going to get different abilities. So here we're going to get advanced action, which is just a special ability, as well as a skill. Every time you have a shield, that's going to give you a new command token, which lets you recruit an additional ally.
Okay.
And then over here, this is your reputation marker. So we're going to have a shield marker over here and over here. As you do good deeds, you're going to go up this way. As you do bad deeds, you go up here. As you do good deeds, you're going to have more influence. Influence is good for talking with villagers, and it lets you recruit people more easily, and you can buy things in villages more easily.
But bad deeds are more fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but eventually it makes it more expensive to accomplish things. And if you get down here to that red X, it means no one's even going to talk to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Just completely, like you're completely disassociated from the community.
Yeah, I think that there's other ways of dealing with that. I
Sure.
don't think you necessarily have to have.
But it's one of the tracks.
I think you're going to want to have it though. Yeah.
So here we have a bunch of tiles. We're going to see, I'm assuming, kind of the game map where it's all of this is going to be modular. So you're going to be flipping and revealing as you're doing the explore actions throughout the game.
There's, as far as I know, there's 2 types of these bigger tiles. You've got to have your base field tiles, and then you're going to have some core city tiles. The field tiles have a green back, and then the core city tiles are going to have a brown back. So I see that these have some castles on it. They may be the brown ones.
And as you
see, these are brown
as
ones.
you can see on camera, these are perfectly ready to be punched out. And it doesn't seem like they have a lot of color on the outside. Like, this is what I would expect. The tiles are, as far as the cardboard quality goes, a little bit thinner than I'd maybe prefer when it comes to kind of my high standards on board games. I'm a little spoiled. But everything seems like it's going to punch nice and cleanly. Nothing seems like it's going to tear on the edges.
Now these circle tokens, these are going to be different types of encounters we have. There's different enemies. There's going to be fortified keeps. There are rampaging orcs. There's draconum wandering around, things like that. Mage towers. The square, these rectangular tiles, these are our skill tiles. These represent our levels. So as we increase, our base level is going to have 2 armor and we'll hold 5 cards. As we go up in level, we'll get more armor. And eventually we're going to have more cards that we can hold.
There are a lot of little bits and pieces.
These are I think these are going to be the play order markers. So we'll see. Yeah, they're going to have the shields on the back. We're going to use these to track who goes first.
Nice. There's a big...
This is the day-night board. So each round is going to take place on a day or a night. We'll start off with a scenario, the first introductory exploration scenario on the day board. And the day board shows movement costs for the different types of terrain. So a plane is going to cost 2. I think that they're going to be in the deed cards. And then you'll see that forests and deserts have a smaller number. That means that's the cost it's going to have at night. So when you flip this over, it is now going to be more difficult to travel through a forest at night, which makes sense.
Sure.
And it's also going to be easier to travel through a desert, which also makes sense.
Sure.
We also use this board to keep track of the source. We're going to roll some dice at the beginning of each round. That's a pool of mana that we will both have access to.
That's like an energy that we're pulling from?
Yep, we'll put those over there, and as they get expended, you kind of push them over to the dark side of the board.
Okay. Right beyond this, I'm seeing a decent little tray. It's got a lot more empty space than maybe is necessary, but that's all right. I'm not going to be too picky when it comes to insert trays. And fully painted... I did not expect fully painted miniatures.
Those are neat.
Pull these out and take a look at them. And they're actually not poorly painted.
Yeah, these are nice. So, I know that the base game, there are 4 Mage Knights, 4 different characters. This has 7. And also, I think that this must be one of the folks from the expansion content. I think it was calling them Volcari or something like that.
Okay. What do you think of the quality? The miniatures themselves.
I like them.
The plastics, it's about standard what you'd think for an older miniature-based game, right?
Yeah.
They're not up to like the level of 3D printing that you're getting in 2019. But that being said, the quality looks good, and the paint job actually, I feel no need to go back through and repaint or touch up or anything. They look good.
I would be thrilled to have something like this.
Yeah.
Right out of the box.
And these guys have around the base. There's a game, I forget what it's called, but it clicks like this. It's kind of an older game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
It has this same, like, I think it's like Clickets or something like that. And I guess these are just resource trackers or money trackers or something like that.
In the base scenario, all you're trying to do is find one of the cities. This is, I think these are going to be the cities that we'll be using in a standard scenario. So I don't know what the resources are we're tracking because, again, in the base scenario, the introductory one, you're over as soon as you reveal it. We don't actually try and conquer it or anything, but I know that you will be trying to conquer these in the standard scenario.
We have sort of an interesting lid. I mean, formed in a way that gives you a lot of space. We have a few piles of cards, so we'll go ahead and pull everything else out of this box. We have a small pile of baggies, which is always appreciated.
And here we have mana. We're going to be using mana throughout the game. Mana can be crystallized. You can hold up to 3 of one color on your character that you can use later, but for the most part it's ethereal and you can only use it during your play. So this is just going to kind of track that.
Okay. One thing that's actually surprising, there's less in that box than I expected. Like there's some modular tiles, there's a lot of little chits, there's some nice miniatures, but it seems like between the stacks of cards and these cardboard tokens, this seems like the game right there.
This is a card-driven game.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a card-driven game. We're gonna have each.
Go ahead and open up these.
Each Mage Knight has got their own set of deed decks. They've got base deeds.
So are they asymmetrical to some degree?
I think that each Mage Knight has one unique card.
Okay.
And otherwise, all of their other.
But in the way that you like build them out and how you use those cards.
Yeah. So this has got a deck building element.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with the same cards essentially, and each knight is going to have one unique card that only is for them. But as you play, you're going to be gaining advanced action cards. You're going to be, and those are all going to be unique. You're going to be gaining unique skills. Those are cardboard tokens. You're going to be gaining unique recruits. You're going to have different spells, things like that.
Will these cards need to be heavily shuffled? Do you know?
So at the end of the round, so what you're going to do is you play your cards, and they go into the discard. And as soon as you go to draw a card and you don't have any, you can announce the end of the round.
Okay.
If you do that, then everybody, including the person who announces it, has one more turn.
Okay.
If you, and that's going to include that, if you have cards in your hand that you haven't played yet, that's fine. But if you don't have any cards in your hand and you don't have anything to discard, then you have to announce the end of the round.
Okay.
And then everyone has one turn.
The only main reason I'm asking is because I do have a full set of sleeves for Mage Knight. These cards, in terms of the card quality, they're fine. If you want the game to not kind of have rough spots on the edges and stuff, these won't substantially hold up to a lot of shuffling. So I would, if this is a game you think you're going to get to the table a lot, just so you don't have spoilers like a card that gets a rip or something on the back, I'd probably recommend leading with a set of sleeves.
Yeah, I agree. Because what I didn't say is that after the round ends, you shuffle your deck, and you start again. And you're going to be shuffling everything.
I mean, you're a poker player. Like these, you're more familiar with cards than I am. They're a little sticky. They probably won't shuffle as
these are
cleanly.
not. I love the very high quality poker cards that I'm used to, and you just know that they don't make. Board games don't come with that level of cards.
No, of course
I've
not.
not seen any that are played on those same cards.
Of course not. But these are stickier than average. They will be harder to shuffle, and they will get torn up if you're shuffling too much. without sleeves.
Yeah.
Because sleeves, one of the big benefits of sleeves isn't just protecting the cards. For those of you that don't sleeve or don't know, they make shuffling so much easier because you can just slide, you can just stack and slide those cards into each other.
One of the types of decks I didn't really mention, this is going to go into your deck. These are the wounds.
Okay.
So as you get wounded, you just add these to your deck. Okay. And you can't discard these, and they're always going to stay in there unless you have some sort of a healing effect, which is difficult. So these are going to just clog up your hand. Yeah, it's got a very much a deck building mechanic.
Interesting.
Normally in a deck builder, at least the ones I've seen, when you get a new card, you're going to put that into your discard pile, and you'll get it later. In this, for the most part, you're going to put it on the top of your deck to draw, so it's going to come into play almost immediately.
So you can strategize a little bit more. Yeah. And that's really even with the deck building, even with the modular tiles, like one of the charms of this game, as far as I've heard, is it is a very deep game. There's a lot of routes you can go. There's a lot of depth when it comes to just the strategy and how much you can learn about this game in order for it to function.
Yep.
I've also heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard it's not the easiest game to learn. And I haven't begun learning it at all. So what's your experience been so far just trying to pick it up with the resources that are out there?
So reading the overview, I think I've got a decent handle on it.
Okay.
However, there are a couple of little tiny caveats to several rules. So we're going to want to keep that close at hand when we actually have our playthrough, because there are just a few exceptions every now and then.
Well, and I do have to say, the people that have left feedback saying it's not the easiest game to learn are the people that have done the work to learn it and create content on things like BGG and videos online and tutorials to allow us to learn it a little bit easier. So now is probably the easiest time to get into this game than it's ever been before.
Yeah. So I say I think I've got a handle on it. That's after having read the playthrough twice now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot.
And I know that I'm still going to want to refer back to it. I know that we're not going to be able to just sit down and start playing it.
Well, let's go ahead and we're going to set up a...
I didn't mention the dice.
We'll talk about the dice.
They're decent quality. They're not heavy. They're a little small. But these are what we're going to roll at the beginning of each round. They're fine for...
I'm not too impressed.
They are fine for our purposes. But these are what we're going to roll at the beginning of each round to have our common source of mana.
So we just roll these once?
At the beginning of each round.
And then we go through the process. And if this was a dice-focused game, I would be disappointed in these dice.
Yeah. So you're going to see that there's a couple of colors of mana that we don't have in here. That's going to be the black ones and the yellow ones. This is mana that only comes in the day, and that acts as a wild mana.
Okay.
And black only can be used in the night, and that's actually a booster. It makes your spells stronger.
Okay. When we take from that pool, am I limiting what you can take from that pool, or is it just accessible to all of us?
So you would take it, and then when you're done, you're going to re-roll that dice and put it back in. You only get to take one per turn.
Okay, interesting.
And if it's nighttime and you roll a sun, it's exhausted and you don't get to use it anymore. So it could exhaust it.
So let's go ahead and set up what the table is generally going to look like.
Yep.
Let's pull a few cards so you can show off some of the cards that we haven't shown before, and then we're gonna get off camera here soon and go figure this game out. All right, so we are back. We've set up a loose example of what a gameplay board will look like. This isn't officially set up. We're going to be figuring out like the details of that when we go to play ourselves. But this game requires a decent amount of table space.
Needs some space.
And this is the smallest version of the space we could muster, right? Like, as these tiles start flipping, as the board starts expanding, this will grow.
That'll grow substantially.
Our decks of cards will start being spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And on top of that, off camera, over to the side, we have piles and piles of things we didn't use.
Some of that is going to be only needed if we have other players involved.
Sure, but there's a lot, like there's a decent amount here on the table.
Right.
There's a lot that's not currently on the table. Not that you will use all of that, but just so you have a sense of like what the final footprint of this game looks like. It's pretty big.
Yeah, everything we need for a standard game, for the intro game is right here. There's
for
only
solo?
We would say for solo because I've only got one player.
But you'd only need one extra deck of cards and one extra miniature for multiple?
Yeah, if we had when we play, we're going to have one extra player space, one extra miniature.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about what we're seeing here? Like just the brief overview?
Sure. Like I said, this is the fame and reputation board. We discussed that earlier. As we gain fame, we're going to move the shield token up. Every time you go onto a new level, you're going to get some bonus. So when you get up here to level 2, you're going to draw one of these advanced action deeds, and you just add that right to the top of your deck. All right, and this is your reputation. This makes it easier to buy things or harder to buy things. It's the influence that you're going to need if you go to villages.
Okay.
It's going to make it harder to get recruits. So let me talk about what the different decks are here. This is our advanced actions. This is the advanced actions offer. So anytime you're instructed to draw from here, you're going to take a card, add it to the top of your deck, slide these down, and draw another one. That's because at the end of a round, you're actually going to take the lowest one, move it off, and everything comes
Just
down.
as a way of cycling maybe an untouched deck or something like that.
Yep, that's the way all of that would work.
Okay.
And that works the same for the spell offer. So these are advanced actions. These are our spells. The spells have got...
the knight part, the mage part.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So the spell offers are over here. These, in the introductory game, it says don't have these out yet. You don't want to put these out until you encounter mage towers when you reveal those, because you're not going to actually be able to use them. But this is more of the standard setup. In a standard setup, you'd have the offers completely out there. Same thing for the units. So the way the units work is you put 2 units out plus 1 for each player. So there's 4 units on offer.
Okay.
If we had more of us playing, there would be more units on offer.
Sure.
This is the player area. This is my own deed deck. Right now it's full of just the 16 basic deeds. These are the skill tokens. These are the command tokens. And as you level up, when I got here, like I said, I'd take the advanced action, put it in here. I'd also take one of these special skills and put it over here. Don't ask me how those work yet. We're gonna need. That's one of the things we'll need to reference, because I don't exactly know how we would use that.
But they're modifiers.
They're modifiers.
It's your character gaining
Absolutely.
experience and leveling up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, once you get to level 3, this one I understand a little better. It's simple. You just take this token from up here, flip it over, put it here. Now you have space for 2 units. If I was to recruit those, they would go right down here.
Yep.
And it also shows that now my basic armor is 3. My hand is still 5. I still get to have 5 cards.
So we're kind of marching around collecting an army, like recruiting a whole horde of people to go on an adventure with us.
Yep. And the way these units are used is when you use it to show that you've activated, you'll move the command token down. That just shows you cannot use it again until it's refreshed, usually, I believe, by the end of the round.
Okay.
And here's our common pool of mana. And then I forgot during the unboxing to mention what these tactics are. The day tactics, based on who's up here first, we're going to get to draw these tactics, and this says who's going to move first. But each of these come with abilities too. So the later you go, the stronger ability you're going to be able to use.
So the order of play could be important.
Order of play can become important, yeah. So there's daytime tactics, there's also nighttime tactics.
I noticed this deck goes the whole way down to 6. Is that because you could play with 6, or are there enemies that will be on this order track as well?
Well, I believe, I honestly, in the expansions, I'm not sure. It's just, you can pick any of these. If you were the first and said, this is a really powerful card, I want to take this.
You'd go last, but you'd have more power.
You're guaranteeing that you're going to end up going last.
I see what you're saying. I thought it was first, second, third, but instead
it is first, second, and third.
Sure, but you're able to select from that range. So if I took a 4, there might be a chance you'd go lower than me.
Yep.
But there'd also be a significant chance that you'd go.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
if you took a 4, I'd almost, if I wanted to go first, I'd probably take the 3, just because that's the most powerful thing.
Second most powerful front card.
Yep.
And then this board, as we kind of explore and stuff, will expand.
Yeah, and there's a certain way that these match up. You got to match up
the stars and the circles.
Yep, exactly right.
Yep. Nice. So that's kind of the breakdown, the overview of the game.
Yep.
Let's grab the rulebook real quick. Let's maybe do a
Here's
quick
the walkthrough rulebook.
Yeah. Well, let's see where the flavor text is. Okay. Would you like to read?
Right there?
Yeah, this whole
sure,
section.
Sure. The so-called heroes who plundered the lost city of Dragon's Gate did not know it was they who had caused the end of the world as they knew it. Thinking that the reference to a gate in the city's name was apocryphal, they were surprised to find an actual magical gate beneath the long-forgotten city. Their heroes were naive enough to open it, killing them instantly. All Magestone, the most concentrated magical substance in existence, detonated, causing millions of death and many of the previous seats of power to fall. The breaking, as it became known, was 32 years ago. Since then, many of the factions were able to reassemble some of their lost power. The once formidable Atlantean Empire struggles to reunite its kingdom in the face of an all-out assault from the Orc Khans. Where once the Orcs were content with raids on the borderlands, the rumors of powerful new creatures, perhaps under the control of the Atlanteans, have made them afraid that their window of opportunity is rapidly closing. Fortresses are falling to rampaging hordes of the Khan army, and there are rumors that the Emperor, fearing an eventual assault on the kingdom's most powerful cities, has been increasing their defenses and asking for assistance from old and now silent allies. In several forgotten tombs beneath the Empire, Draconum chrysalis, now in their final stages of maturation, are hatching. The Draconum that will emerge from these ancient incubators are an entirely new evolution, unlike anything the land has ever seen. These long-lost invaders have timed their awakening to coincide with the prophecy that a leader of their kind would emerge at this appointed hour. Until that force is known, they seek to destroy, conquer, and amass power for themselves. As the land suffers under the Orc raids and the Draconum break through their underground hatchery, yet a third force has arrived on the scene. The peasants call them Mage Knights, as they proved equally adept at spell and blade. No one knows who sent them or why. Some celebrate them as heroes and liberators and are eager to join their enemies, as they believe they can bring about true stability with their might. Most fear them and close the gates of their cities, as the Mage Knights are strange and choose to remain silent on their motives. In just a few days, a handful of Mage Knights have swept through the countryside in what would have taken entire armies months to conquer. The only hint as to their motivation is that they are clearly headed to the capital. Tonight, they will reach its walls. You are a Mage Knight, sent to invade the Atlantean Empire at the behest of the Council of the Void. In a past you have long forgotten, you traded your independence for powers that rival those of the gods. In exchange, the Council asks only for loyalty, and now you are being called on to carry out your mission without questioning their intentions. Your reward for your continued obedience? Fame, power, knowledge, and treasure. Anything you encounter while on your mission is yours to keep, and you are free to work with or against your fellow Mage Knights as you carry out the Council's commands. Perhaps someday you will regret your decision to join the ranks of the Void, but for now you march toward the silhouette of a city on the horizon.
That was cool. I liked that.
Yeah, it's fun flavor text.
Yeah, that set me, like, now I feel like I understand this game a lot better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey guys, thank you for joining us for this Mage Knight unboxing and overview. Please subscribe. Or don't. He doesn't care. I care a little bit, though. If you do subscribe, what you'll get every week is new videos that are unboxings, overviews, documentary videos, full gameplay, flavor text videos, how to plays, a whole arsenal of content.
Occasional documentaries.
Yeah, I mentioned those, so you're just repeating what I've already said.
Damn.
And even some squabbling. Whatever the case, guys, please remember to do the important thing.
Get out there and play more games.
I mean, I was close to the end line.
I tried. You forgot to introduce me again.
Hey, this is Matt.
Hi.
See you guys. Thank you. Ready to play?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you?
Yeah, let's do it.